Great seeing you here again. Welcome back to this new video as part of our masterclass in project management. And in this video, we'll continue or we'll finish the critical path method by calculating the slack or the float. Slack and float, or slack or float, basically the same thing. We must find the slack so we understand the flexibility of the different activities. What is the meaning of the slack or the float? And these are the two parts that we're going to do here. It will be a short video because basically we just have to do some subtractions to find the differences here. So calculating the slack or the float, well, first of all, we have now the slack we have to calculate there. So we have the node with the information, and we can calculate the slack in two ways. We can make the difference between the late finish and the early finish, or the late start and the early start. So we have all that information available. So when we look at activity 2, we find a slack of 2. For B, we find a slack of 0. For C, we find a slack of 4. For D, we find a slack of 5. For E, we find a slack of 0. For F, we find a slack equal to 3. For G, we have a slack of 4. For H, we have a slack of 0. And for J, we have a slack of 0. So these are basically the results, and we have to have a look how to interpret them. So when I find here the calculations, whatever calculation you do, whatever method you use, both methods and both calculation methods will provide the same amount of slack. And here we just have the late start minus the early start. We can also take the late finish minus the early finish, and we find the slack. The table represents the data obtained from the method starting from 1. So it's very important when you look at the previous videos, when we started from 1 or 0, we have different early starts and late starts, but the slack will be the same. When we look at the slack represents the flexibility of the activity. So when we move an activity within the slack, the end date of the project will not change. And when we look at activities with slack equal to 0, these activities don't have any flexibility. And any delay, any changes in duration, any delay, when we are working faster than planned, they will have an immediate effect on the duration of the project. So it's very important to understand that. So that's it for the slack. The slack is a very simple video, very short video. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next videos. Bye bye.